I've read tons of Christian books on ministry, ministry processes, ministry philosophies, and there's only been a select few that actually impacted the ministry here at Eternal Life Baptist Church, where I pastor at, and have changed the way I do things to better minister to people. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Dalton Grovenstein. I pastor here at Eternal Life Baptist Church in Nahunta, Georgia, a new church plant we started over 6 years ago. Started by faith, just me and my wife in a storefront there. And now we're about to build a new sanctuary, or we are building a new sanctuary, about to finish it. Super exciting what God's doing. The church is growing, people's getting saved, preachers are getting called to preach in the church, and it's all for the glory of Jesus Christ, and He's the one that's doing the work. But I do believe God works through people, and I want to share with you some things that God has used as tools to minister to my life and allow me to better minister into other people's lives, okay? So out of all the books I've ever read, there's 4 that have truly impacted the ministry that God has called us to do. Okay, real quick, I just want to hop on here and tell you that GM Baptist Outreach is who sponsors this video, and I want to give you a brief description of who we are. So we help churches reach their communities and bring visitors in the doors of their church every single week with what's called the Digital Track Ministry, and we're working with churches all across the country. We have 170 plus churches we're serving in rural areas, populated areas, also in 5 different countries around the world. And so it's amazing what God's doing with the Digital Track Ministry, and we would love to help your church set this up as well. And so if you're curious about it and you want to know more about it and what it looks like set up for a church, you can find a demo video in the description of this video. You'll find a link to sign up for a demo video that walks you through the exact process of the Digital Track Ministry. It also walks you through the financial side of things of what it looks like set up for a church. And so with that being said, super glad you're here. Sign up for that. Make sure to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's going to allow us to put out a lot more valuable content for churches to help them with outreach and discipleship. So go ahead and enjoy the rest of the video, and we will see you on the other side. So the first book that impacted our ministry in a great way is this book right here called The Tale of Three Kings by a guy named Gene Edwards. So The Tale of Three Kings, basically, it tells the story of King Saul, King David, King Absalom, and it tells you the story how David reacted in the midst of both of those kings, King Saul and King Absalom, and how, David as king was a creation of having to serve under a King Saul. And there's lots of great spiritual truths and principles in this book, The Tale of Three Kings. But I would say one of the biggest ones is definitely just the teaching of what kind of leader I wanted to be. Did I want to lead like a King Saul in insecurity, or did I want to lead like a King David in trusting God for the results to bring me where He wanted me to be? And so, super impactful book. I strongly encourage you, if you've never read The Tale of Three Kings by Gene Edwards, definitely get the book, read it. I think it'll benefit your ministry in a very, very amazing way. Number 2, the next book that really was a influential book in just me reviving my heart in the ministry and just teaching me about different areas of the ministry is The Preacher and His Preaching. Okay, this is by Alfred P. Gibbs, The Preacher and His Preaching. It's almost like the Bible for preaching, okay? It's not necessarily, we know it's not the Bible. The Bible teaches you about preaching. I understand all that. The guy that put this book together, and he literally covered just about every subject on the ministry that you can think of. Sermon creation, outlines, but he also covered the minister, his family, his health, dangers of the ministry, just so much more. And there's so much stuff in here that has just influenced me in different areas of the ministry. And I still go back to this book and read every now and then different chapters that I've already read before, and I know what they say, but every time I read them, it stirs in me in an area of the ministry, and it helps me spiritually, okay? So this book, The Preacher and His Preaching, good book. If you don't have that one, I encourage you to get that book. Okay, book number 3, that is one of my favorite books. Okay, this is probably one of my all-time favorites, but was a great impact in our ministry. And I'm telling you, like, we've seen so much fruit in our ministry, in the church that I pastor at, from the result of me reading this book. And this book is called Fresh Wind, Fresh Fire by a guy named Jim Cymbala. Strongly encourage you, if you don't get any of the books in this video, I'm telling you, get Fresh Wind, Fresh Fire. It tells the story of when a church takes prayer seriously and what it can do in the church. Not just the pastor, but everybody in the church. If you can get them praying and produce a genuine prayer life in people's lives, prayer will change the trajectory of a ministry, when people actually believe in a big God that can do big things. Praying through the ministry and in the ministry is what this book teaches you. And I'm telling you, you think you know everything about prayer, but you don't, okay? You need to get this book, read it. It'll definitely revive your church in ways that you never imagined. Very impactful, probably one of my favorite books. I've read it more than once and encourage it to any pastor, all right? And so that is number 3 of my top books that I feel like have impacted me in the ministry. But lastly, and not least, this is another one of my favorites that really has touched our ministry in the past 2 years in a great, great way. And this is called Simple Church by Thom Rainer, all right? So Simple Church by Thom Rainer is a book that I'd say the past 2 years has dramatically impacted the way we do ministry. And it's helped us with the mindset of when people enter into the doors of our church, what is the goal? What is our point A to point B? And we know salvation and discipleship are in that process. But a lot of churches don't have a process of a point A to point B. Like they don't know what the next steps is for people who visit the church. And he talks about that in this book about, churches having that next steps of where to send people for discipleship and growing in their faith. And it's the next steps is not just hoping that they get in church for different services. The next steps is actually having a mapped out path that this is our one next step that we want to send all visitors into our church to get them growing in their faith and plugged into the church. And I'm just giving you an overview of just some stuff of the book. Like I'm not covering by far any details of it. I strongly encourage you to buy this book, Simple Church. Watch what it does in your ministry. I'm telling you, when you read it, actually apply it, and you'll be amazed at the growth and the fruit you'll see in your ministry by applying the principles he talks about in here. With that being said, those are 4 books that have really touched our ministry, changed our ministry, and have impacted it for the glory of God in a great way. I encourage you to buy these books and watch what God does in your life through them.